Welcome everyone. I'm Mr. Eves, and today we're going to be talking about graphing ordered pairs. So to start off, let's go to our worksheet. So the first part of the worksheet says, which skier won the Norway to Finland cross-country ski race? And so to start off, you're going to notice that this graph starts from 0 and it goes to the right to 10, and it goes from 0 up to 10. Now, let's just make a quick reminder that right over here, this is known as our x-axis. So that's our x-axis. And the vertical one, so this one over here, I think I'm going to just draw a little quick arrow over here. This one's known as our y-axis. So we have our two different axes. Now, let's talk about this actual section, this square. This big square is represented by its quadrant 1. And in quadrant 1, we know the values to be, positive. So basically what that's saying is, if we come down here, the first number is positive and the second number is positive. We know it's going to be within this quadrant. So everything that we're dealing with on this side of the worksheet is in quadrant 1. So let's go ahead and graph this. So the first number tells me to go to the right. So first number is right, second number is going to be up. So we go over 2 and up 5. That first letter is I, so I'm going to go ahead and cross it out and write I in that spot. Now the next one, we have 7, 4, so I'm going to start at the 0. I go all the way over to 7. I go up 4, which is the letter T. I go ahead and space this, cross it out. That gives me IT. Now remember, this little dot down here, that's just a space, so we know that that's a space. We go 5, 8. So we go over 5, up 8, right there, which is W. And we go ahead and cross that out and put W. So that's pretty easy on this side of the worksheet. Really simple and straightforward. Well, let's move to the next side. So let's flip it over. And on this side, it says, why is a mother kangaroo unhappy when it rains? Now, the thing that we're going to notice is we have 1, 2, 3, 4 quadrants. And so let's go ahead and label them. Once again, you can see that we have the x-axis, and up here we have the y-axis. So our first one is going to be positive, and we know that's quadrant 1. And so this is quadrant 1. That's quadrant 1. The next one we're going to be dealing with is quadrant 2, and that is negative, positive, and that's right here. That whole square. And I guess we could kind of outline that. Quadrant 2 is this whole thing. Good. There we go. So this is quadrant 2. This is quadrant 1. So pretty straightforward. There we go. Get these squares down just a little bit. So there's quadrant 1, quadrant 2. Now, quadrant 3 is right here, and it is negative. So all the numbers that are negative, and that's going to be found right here. So here's quadrant 3. That's quadrant 3. So, right there. That's quadrant 3. Now, quadrant 4 is positive, negative, and so we have, this is quadrant 4. Draw that out. So there's quadrant 4. So this is representing quadrant 4. So now that we've identified all the quadrants, now we're going to be able to do shortcuts. What I mean by shortcuts is if the number is positive positive, we know it's going to be found here in quadrant 1. If the number starts as a negative and then the second number is a positive, we know it's going to be in quadrant 2. If it's negative negative, we know it's going to be in quadrant 3. If it's positive negative, it's going to be in quadrant 4. Now you notice the first number is positive on quadrant 1 and quadrant 4. That means that it's on the positive side, and so our positive numbers are going horizontal. If you look over here, negative and negative, so our negatives are going there. So our first number tells us to go to the left or right. Second number tells us to go up or down, so second number negative, negative. So the ones that are below are negative on the second, and the ones that are above are positive. See how simple that is? Now let's go ahead and graph this, and let's look at this first one. This one says 4, 6. So we go over, start right here at the middle, and that's known as the origin. We're going to go over 4 and up 6, which is the letter O. And I go ahead and put that in there, cross it off, and put O. The next one we have is 7, 2. So I'm going to start over here and go over 7. Where's 7? Right there, and up 2. Go ahead and mark that off, put it on. Now, we notice that this is a negative 3, 6. Matches here. The first number is negative, the second number is positive. So I go over 3, or negative 6, and up positive 3. So it's right there, T. And so I would put that in there. So I'd put T down there. Well, let's move on. Now this worksheet should maybe, the both sides should maybe take you 10 minutes max. 10-15 minutes. Now this next worksheet, this one's a little bit harder. So we have our graphing coordinates. So for our quadrants, so we have quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now this next thing we're going to do is bring in the actual sequences. Now let me just make that a little bit bigger. On the worksheet it's a little bit smaller. I mean, not as small, but I'm going to bring it up a little bit bigger so you can actually see it. I'm going to cover up this space because I'm not going to use that right now, but you'll use it. So to kind of see that, we have negative 7, 6. So remember our little cheat sheet, negative 7, 6 is going to be over here. So we're going to start here at the middle, at the origin. I'm going to go over to negative 7 and go up to 6. And put a point. So you put a point there, then we're going to go ahead and cross that off. So we go ahead and cross that off. So we can cross off 7, 6. Now, the next one is going to be 4, 6. So right here, 4, 6. And let's go ahead and cross that off. Well, let's start here in the middle. And go over 4 and up 6. And go ahead and put our point up there. So we put a point. Well, as you can see, I kind of went through the points and kind of crossed them off as I went, and kind of got ahead of myself there. But so I cross off those 3 right here, and so my next one was right here, and I'm going to go right to this one. So it's negative 5, 2. So we go over negative 5, and we're going to go down 2. So it's going to be right here. We're going to go ahead and put a point there. So when I go negative 5, 2, put a point there. Then I'm going to connect to the previous dot, making our own dot to dot. Well, let's do a couple more together so you can kind of get a gist of what's going on. So negative 2, negative 3 is the next one. So I go over negative 2 and down 3, and I'm going to put a dot. And it's somewhat straight. Connect my dots. And then come over here and cross it off. Negative 2, 8. So go over negative 2 and down 8. And it's going to be, oh, that wasn't very good. Right there. Get on there. Negative 2, 8. cross it off. And I'll go through this, maybe this first sequence so you know what to do. And so the next one is 9, 8. So we go over to -9 and go 8. I'm going to put a dot there. So it's all the way over here. And get it right on there. Connect to the previous dot. Then we got 9, 3. So back up here. There's 3. Connect to the previous dot. Oh, wrong color. 9, 3. And it's following some kind of pattern. 6, 2. So go over here. 6 and 2. Put a dot. Connect. Probably kind of seeing the patterns, and I'm going to go ahead and cross off those. Don't do that one. Do those 3. So I'm going to do 6, positive 3. So I'm going to put a point over here at 6, positive 3. And I'll connect to that. 6, positive 3. Then we have the next one is -7 up 4, which is right there. Connect to that. And finally our last one, 7, 6, connect to the first. And so that finishes out that sequence. And so now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the next sequence, which is 2, -5. So I go over 2, at -5, which is over here, like right here in this area. So down here, and we'd put our next point, and we wouldn't connect to the previous dot. So this is a quick little lesson on graphing and finding ordered pairs. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, brought to you by the Mr. Eves channel on YouTube. Please subscribe, and I hope you have a great day.